Good morning, Ulrika.
Hi, Mark.
Hi. Okay, thank you for taking the time to be here, just to chat about this, about some of the work you do in Learnlife, and specifically about this exciting new partnership that we've heard a little bit about, and just to get a few more details on that. So I just wanted to welcome you, but just to ask for people who may not know you and just kind of looking from the outside in to Learnlife, if you could let us know a bit about your role, specifically what you do within Learnlife.
Yeah, thank you first for having me. My role that's really interesting because we are a startup, and so my role is not just like one small granular role, but it has actually many different levels. So I'm Chief Impact Officer for the Learn Hubs. That means hubs that we have in Barcelona, but also hubs around the world that we are at the moment building with partners. And yeah, this part I think is at the moment a bit on my focus. So supporting different partners and setting up their own Learn Hubs around the world. We are speaking with entrepreneurs, with authorities, with all different kind of people, from Costa Rica to Shanghai to Noosa in Australia to yeah, people from Africa, or yeah, pretty much everywhere around the world. Interestingly, a lot of people also that have reached out are coming from the German-speaking region, and which is quite helpful for me because I'm here sitting now in Munich.
Yeah. So it's a very global movement, and this is the interesting thing. And just to kind of clarify about Learnlife, because looking from the outside in, we've got the main, well, the center we've heard about, first of all, the urban hub in Barcelona, but then you've got this kind of global reach, and there's talk of a global movement and alliance, and there's this kind of terminology about disrupting education systems worldwide. So what you're saying is actually kind of aligning with that. But just to sort of give a bit more of an idea, you mentioned the hubs, the actual Learn hubs. For the people that don't know, I mean, what exactly is that?
Yeah, maybe from the outside, sometimes it looks a little bit like we are doing a million things, but actually there are just pieces of the same puzzle. So we have the learning paradigm, which is the research base, bringing in all the best practices from all around the world together in one place. It's permanently also further developed with a lot of people from all over the world, which is the alliance that are coming together to support this learning paradigm. And at the same time, we wanted to make sure that this is not theory, because we have a lot of theory around, and I'm honestly sick because it's like, for how many years we are discussing how we can change education, but actually nothing much has been done, or it's like little tweaks here and there, but it's not something that is really transformative. And so it's very important to also put it into practice, and then that's where the hubs come in. So to really show, okay, this is not a theory, something you can implement, where you can work with learners, and you can also really see the change that you are actually offering for the learners. And that's so it's this very practical way. And then there is obviously a loop back towards research again. So from all these experiences that we have in the hubs, there are also new questions coming up. These will be folded back into the paradigm, and our thought leaders, our supporters will be asked questions around what has actually happened in our hubs. But on the second level also, we have noticed that a lot of people came to us and said, okay, we want to do the same in our place, in our city, and make it relevant for our learners. And so we started to give trainings and how to do this actually. And by now this is, it's a complete offering of a license model that you can start a LearnLife hub anywhere in the world. You get the training based on the paradigm, but also based on the experiences that we have in our, let's say, lab hubs in the urban and the nature hub in Barcelona.
I like this idea of a loop because it all sounds very organic. It's not like you're trying to sort of replicate models in different, sort of carbon copies in different countries. It's very much like there's the Learn Hub is introduced, but there's a two-way communication in terms of feeding back into the paradigm, which then feeds back into what happens on the ground in the hubs. So the model evolves together, which is really nice, to think about, because you think about education, it's not really, replicating in different cultural contexts and things like that is obviously going to be trickier. So it sounds very like an adaptive model in a way.
Yeah, it's we try to apply the learning paradigm pretty much everywhere. Also for me, if I work with partners, I see them as learners, as self-determined learners following our paradigm. And so that's why for me it's very important that I really have the conversations really to understand what is needed in their community, what are their own needs, and how can we support them and guide their learning in this way. So I see myself with the partners as being a learning guide, just like a learning guide would guide a younger learner in a hub.
So just to follow up on what you'd said there, because we're talking about getting into the relationship between Learnlife and the partners. And of course, your role is very central in this. So could you give us a bit more of an idea about, before we get into the specifics of this new partnership, how does Learnlife support its partners and the partnership process in general? I mean, what kind of things can people expect when they're working with you and opening a learning hub in their setting, for example?
Yeah, usually we receive maybe 10 or 15 requests for Learnlife hubs per week from all different sides of the world. And we are trying to make this a very personal experience. So we usually start with a call where we really need to understand what point of the journey are they? Have they already have a place, a learning place? Is it a school, or is it an entrepreneur that just want to transform something? For instance, we are working at the moment or talking with a group that they have bought a hotel and they want to transform it into a learning space. I'm talking with airports that want to have a learning place in their transfer lounge, or before 3 weeks, prison reached out and they said, okay, we want to have a learning space in the prison. Wow. So there's really is a wide range of people that are reaching out, and for me it's really important that whatever offer we give them to build a learning space is really relevant for the community that they are dealing with. Not only the learners, but also the wider community, to have support from the community, because learning in the old paradigm, it was in this block of a school, but it should be really part of a bigger community. So that's why, the word hub really is, it's like the starting point, but you start a journey from there to the wider community in your space, or maybe in your region, in your city, connecting to other things, to other business. And for me, it's quite important to understand where the people are when they reach out, so we can offer them different services and knowledge transfer to really help them to grow from where they are into where they want to go.
So every time you work with somebody, I mean, what an exciting range of potential partners for a start. I mean, it's just incredible to think about a Learn Hub in a transfer lounge, and in a, you know, a detention institution or a prison, something like that as well. So, I mean, obviously it's very unique the way that you work with people. It doesn't sound like something that you would rush through. I mean, you're getting 10 to 15 requests per week, but these settings sound so unique that you must really have to be very selective about who you're working with and how much, because it must take quite a lot of time, no, to actually make sure that this partnership is developed with the community foremost in mind and with the learner foremost in mind, and make sure that it's properly adapted to the setting.
Yeah, it is, but it is the personal learning that we claim that we have to have, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to have something personalized or something copy paste.
Yeah.
We are not a franchise model like I don't know, McDonald's or Burger King, where the burger tastes everywhere the same. For us, it's really important that the learning places and spaces are really unique in the way that it's meeting the needs of the learners in their community, and also the needs of the people that want to run the hub, which is not always the same. But it's, for us, it's also important to really understand how we can actually also build these connections together. So it is really a co-creation in a way of we are giving the different tools. We have a big team that has a lot of experience from all different kinds of learning innovation. And we try to make it as meaningful as possible for the people to really create something outstanding and innovative for their own community, wherever that might be. And yes, it is a lot of work that we put in, but I think it's not possible to do it in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds very, very logical. And of course, I mean, that I can see that you would have to be very take into close consideration who it is that you're working with, because to ensure that they align with the basic principles of the approach, that it's, for example, learner directed, and it's not something you could just sort of jump into if you're transitioning from a traditional model immediately. There must be quite a lot of a process of adaptation and training and relearning, of course. So with that in mind, this new partnership that I've been reading about with Intrinsic, haven't been able to find out much information on it. Can you give us the overview? I mean, who are Intrinsic? What's the partnership about? It sounds pretty big.
Yeah, so Intrinsic Campus is an organization that has been existing for quite a while now, and they have in Switzerland tried to change the approach of how teachers are trained, and they had a number of collaborations with different universities where they took over some modules of the teacher training to implement a new model. And they reached out because they felt very aligned to what we are doing at Learnlife, and they found it would be really interesting if teachers, right from their start, when they become teachers, that they are aware that there is a new model, and so they could actually start already learning this right from the beginning and can implement it right through their own learning at the university, as well as in internships and all these things that they have to go through. So over the time they will actually adapt to this model in a meaningful way, and that obviously has a lot of impact because these teachers will then spread the ideas in their schools and reach a lot of more learners than if you would just train a teacher that is already at school, right? Because the young teachers are changing schools a lot, and they are still open. they still have the feeling of the call, why they actually wanted to become teachers. Many teachers that are now in the system they have unfortunately lost this, right? And they feel frustrated just because from the of these restraints that we have in the system. And reaching these young people, that's it's an amazing movement that Intrinsic is doing there. And obviously now in the partnership with us, they are also developing other models of reaching teachers that are in schools, trying to implement the learning guide training that we are offering. They're also at some point they want to offer their learning guide training for Learnlife themselves. So they will be probably the first providers of German-speaking learning guide training in the German-speaking region, which is for us really exciting because we can obviously reach more people this way.
So that's just to summarize, Ulrike, 2 elements so far. Then there's the first act. It sounds almost, if I understand the teacher training part, it sounds like it's so this isn't sort of from inception. It's a complement to the existing teacher training. So these teachers are going to university to do their teacher training, and Intrinsic, supported by Learnlife, are coming in to say, let's broaden this out a little bit. There's other stuff out there. You might be learning the traditional pedagogies that are part of the existing mandated model, but here's this whole other thing happening that is probably much, well, in fact, it's, let's be honest, it's certainly much more aligned with the reason you're getting into teaching in the first place. So you're trying to be there at the beginning to say there's more out there, and broaden that out, and not just with teacher training from new teachers, but existing teachers to go in and show them how to broaden out and bring in things like play-based learning and nature-based learning and all the things you do in the paradigm to their existing model to make it a better environment for the learner, of course. So there's that first angle, and then the second angle is they might directly take on the training of the learner, the learning guides. So as Learnlife grows and implements more partner hubs in German-speaking regions, they can go to the learning guides can go to Intrinsic for their training, and that allows you to grow. Is that more or less where?
Right. Yeah. And obviously there's another layer that will start a little bit later on, that they want to open a hub as well for younger learners, probably starting with older learners from grade 10, but they have also a project where they with us together support a group of free learners in Bern, also in Switzerland, that want to open their own Learn Hub. So the free learners have.
What do you mean by free learners exactly?
Those, you can call them homeschooled, or it's families that don't have their kids in any standardized school, let's say.
That's a nice, it's a nice, much nicer phrase, isn't it? Free learners. That sounds like something you want to be. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that's. I think this is also really the way that these wonderful people are doing this. So they're spending a lot of time with the kids in the nature and the forest. But it's something these families are co-creating together, we have actually a number of homeschooling communities that are reaching out now, where they feel that the Learnlife model could actually cater these communities a lot, because as much as it is nice to be homeschooled, there are some certain things that are also nice to have, in like connecting young people together, working on projects together, but also other things like having bigger machines or bigger tech, that is so much easier if people are buying this together and then using it together for a homeschooling community. And all this is possible if you have a studio-based model hub like we are offering from Learnlife.
Right. So it basically empowers. I mean, there's families as well that are, I guess, transient. They're traveling for work, for example. If I understand, they're able to learn kind of online and independently, but they can come in and out of different hubs wherever they happen to be, and basically find a consistent approach to the paradigm wherever they are. So it gives them that sense of connection with something consistent. No.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what we hope to reach over the time, that if we have so many different partner hubs all over the world, that learners can switch the whole time between different hubs, but also between our using our online spaces. We are working at the moment on a model that we call high flex, where a learner every time and any time of the day, he can decide, do I want to go to a physical space, any Learnlife physical space that is maybe near me, or I want to use the Learnlife model purely online, and I can decide the whole time between this, and also decide between different hubs. Like in Barcelona, we have the nature hub and the urban hub. There's probably something more coming up, and the same will happen in other places as well. And the beautiful thing about this is also that every hub partner can also feed into the online environment. So I'm coming from their own unique points that we talked about earlier, right? So if you have, for instance, an African hub that is specializing in building drones, they can offer an online offering for anyone from Shanghai to, I don't know, to San Francisco, to learn about how to build a drone. And so if every hub is doing this, there's a huge amount of knowledge that is available to this self-determined learning community that is building around the Learnlife hubs.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, one nucleus of an institution can't be experts in everything, and we have the technology. There's no reason to try to do that anymore. I mean, this is a proper learning community, and I mean, the more I hear from Learnlife, the more I've got absolutely no doubt that this is going to happen. I mean, these ideas of this global vision, and it does sound like this is an important step to enter, or to shore up the presence in Switzerland and Germany as well. Of course, if you're training German speaking learning guides. So, I mean, did I understand correctly that Intrinsic are planning to open an actual Learn hub as well in Zurich, I guess?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the plan. So now on the 1st of October, they will announce, or we will announce together, this partnership. But it's a learning journey also for all of us. So the partners is not like that happening, but it's something that we co-create and develop and learn together, and see what is also the response of the community. What are parents and teachers and overall community, what are they telling us what they are needing, and then we can build models around that together with Intrinsic.
Well, it's going to be really exciting to watch how it evolves, and to learn more about it as it develops. I'm particularly interested in the teacher training thing. It's just to go back to what you said. It's something that I work as a teacher trainer myself, mainly with university teachers. And the reason I did that is exactly what you said, that the way to make a net impact, isn't it, is to work with teachers. If you really want to change things, the net impact can be so much more pervasive doing it in that way. And I love the idea that I've only ever been able to work with teachers who are, they've been in practice for a few years or several years, but to get in there at the beginning, before habits begin to hardwire, before the unlearning process becomes more fossilized and difficult to unpick, it's such a fantastic opportunity. So I hope you'll be sharing more with us as it evolves. We'd love to find out more. What's the next step then? When can we expect things to actually start becoming visible and operational?
Yeah, from Intrinsic, we will see. Most probably, the from 1st of October, you will see a lot of things moving already with the new project that they call the Intrinsic Cosmos project, which is gearing towards school environments. We will probably also work on something where we connect this learning in schools with our own Hubling concept to, provide all these different learning spaces, small spaces in classrooms or in schools, where this could be a starting point for a school transformation. And we see already that there's a huge interest from all over the world, actually, in our little cute Hublings. So we'll see. Let's let them hatch, and then we'll move it forward.
Yeah, I'm liking the metaphor. Yeah, it's really exciting, and I did not know that you were interested in such diverse communities as, for example, prisons and airport transfer lounges. But I do recall now hearing that or reading that they could be literally anywhere, but still the limits of my imagination only stretched to education settings. But I mean, we talk a lot in Learn Life about place-based learning, isn't it? And that learning happens anywhere at any time. So this is...
Yeah, I mean, maybe to ignite your imagination a little more. Just this morning I had a sheikh from Abu Dhabi reaching out to me and saying that he has these huge yachts in different areas of the world in harbors, and he said, actually it would be cool if we had a Hubling in our yacht. So it's like the yacht is in the harbor and the marina the whole time, and I'm not using it all the time, but maybe we can, in this way, we can open it to the use of the people in the surroundings. Or what I find interesting is that especially this Hubling idea, it's sparking a lot of interest of people really from all over the world, and in very different mindsets and in different ways. And I love this more because we need to stop thinking that learning is just happening in schools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learning is happening everywhere, and the more we can provide these little spaces all over the places, this becomes more tangible, right? You can have a Hubling in a bakery or in a coffee shop or anywhere, and young learners could be again going out really in the world and learn there and move from one place to the other and take their learning journey really through the city and not only defined to this one space of what we call school.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the exciting thing. And so for people out there that are thinking about this, I mean, basically it's a learning space, but it's something that's co-created with the community and the learner in the context in mind. But it's something that is also connected to a global community of learners guided by a central learning paradigm that learns from the experiences it co-creates, and feeds back into the central model. Yeah, incredible, fantastic. Well, Ulrika, thank you so much for sharing all the information about the partnership. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about it, and don't want to take up much more of your time because I think you're the busiest person I've spoken to in quite a while.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, but it's my calendar is always quite busy. But thank you so much for having me. And for sure we will share a lot of more information, and Intrinsic also will reach out. They're at the moment revamping their website, and so more information is coming on the way. And anyone that is free on the 1st of October can also come to the opening party in Zurich. I will be there, and some other Learn Life people as well. And we will start the journey there in Switzerland. And for us, it's really, really special because it is the first partner hub that happened in less than a year. from when we started this whole movement. So that's makes them special, and this whole partnership special as well.
And now it's really becoming real, even though there's several in development.
Exactly.
That this one is now concrete. It's like this model is becoming flesh. It's fantastic. Yeah. Okay, well, congratulations on the great news, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
And see you soon.
See you soon. Take care, Ulrika.
Bye-bye.